Hey, hey, hey. This is the live that was supposed to occur last night, but because of a personal situation, I couldn't start it. So I'm going to wait about 3 minutes for people to come through. Come on through, come on through. Anybody's welcome. The only thing I'm going to say is if you hear noise in the background, it is steam. I want to make that clear. And the radiators, they're not timed. It's not something you can control. It happens spontaneously. So I apologize in advance if you hear noise in the background. I never had that issue during a live, but I just want to let you guys know that if you hear the background, any noise in the background is steam. If it's scary noise, I will, then you know it's not steam. That's all. So I'm going to wait for other people to come in, and I'm going to give it about another minute and a half, and then I'm going to start. I do want to say that this live is not going to be long. It's going to get to the point. This is one thing that I never spoke about during my topics. Hey, welcome to my live. This is one thing I never spoke about because I wanted to do more research to really see how all this really came about. Because I'm going to tell you something. This fiasco at the 94th Academy Awards involving Will Smith could have been prevented. And I'm not just speaking in terms of Will Smith. I'm talking about the Academy. So I'm going to wait for a couple of more seconds. I'm going to wait when it gets to 2:30 seconds, and then I'm going to go into it. I'm going to talk. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like what I'm reading. Because, yes, the smack was wrong to do on an international platform with the whole world to watch. But I don't like to see someone vilified because they smack somebody and they apologize. And you're going to treat them like they are the worst person to ever walk in Hollywood, to ever work in Hollywood, when seconds before that, you had loved and adored him because he made so much money for you all. So I'm going to begin. All right. So this topic is going to focus on what is live, actually. It's going to focus on Chris Rock. And the question that I have is, with the whole fiasco that occurred, why did AMPAS invite Chris Rock as a presenter to this past ceremony, this year's ceremony? So why did the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences invite Chris Rock to the Oscars as a presenter, knowing that Will and Jada have an issue with him since he hosted the 2016 Oscars when he made the comment about Jada boycotting because there wasn't any Black people nominated this year? Well, it's like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited. Knowing that he said that, it started there that there was a beef between the Smiths and Chris Rock. So I'm going to go back in time to 1991. Very important because you got to understand the context and understand what's really taking place and why Chris said what he said about Jada throughout the years, not just at the Oscars, and why Will slapped him. So 1991, Will Smith was in the second season of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air production. And they used to film, of course, at NBC because that's where the show aired. But they used to also film at like the WB lot because like Warner Brothers basically produces the show, which is why you can watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episodes on HBO Max, because HBO is owned by Time Warner. Okay, and that's Warner Brothers is a part of that whole family. So in 1991, Will Smith met Jada Pinkett Smith, and he met Jada, and he tried to talk to her, but Jada wasn't feeling him. A day later, he met his future wife, Sheree. And Sheree, or Sheree, I think her name is Sheree. Sheree, she was an extra on A Different World. So they started hitting it off. They got along, but although he gave it a chance and he married her and they had a child, he was always in love with Jada. He loved Jada. So fast forward to 3 years later, Valentine's Day 95, he realized he was not in love with Sheree. He loved Jada, and Jada was always on his mind. And he told Sheree, I can't be with you. I love you as a person and I love my son, but this marriage, it can't go on because I'm in love with someone else. So he told her the truth, which was really manly of him to do so. And then the next day he was out in the rain looking for Jada. He literally said this. He literally said this on one of the episodes of Red Table Talk, that he was in love with Jada. So he searched her and then found her number through a mutual friend. And by this time, Jada was making movies. She actually made more movies than Will, because Will Smith at the time he had made an independent film. Then he made Made in America. Then he was in 6 Weeks Separation. Then he had filmed Bad Boys in the summer of 94. Okay. Jada was in, after A Different World, Jada was in Menace to Society, Jason's Lyric. She was also in A Low Down Dirty Shame. Then she was in The Inkwell. Then she was in another. Was she in movies from the 90s? Her 90s movies, I love them. Hold on. Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett. Let me look it up, because I know her resume is just awesome. She has a really good resume for the 90s, I will say. Okay, let me see. Filmography. All right. Menace to Society, Inkwell, Jason Lyric, A Low Down Dirty Shame, Demon Knight. Okay, so at that time, she had made a film called Demon Knight. Yeah, Demon Knight. So that was the film she made. And for TV, she had stopped doing TV. So she had dating her, and they made their red carpet debut when it was one of those movies that he did, and it was Bad Boys. That's when he made the red carpet debut, Bad Boys. So in 95, that's when they showed up as a couple, but they didn't really publicly announce it officially until 96 Independence Day. Now, while they're being a couple and making things work, a year or so prior, Chris Rock met Jada. And Chris Rock asked Jada out on a date, but she declined the offer. Okay? So pretty much, he always resented that he got kind of, you can say not chosen or rejected. But then he guest starred on The Fresh Prince as a guy named Maurice. And he supposedly had a cousin named Jasmine, and the cousin was him in drag. And if you remember the episode, he looked a hot mess. And when they was in the club, all the scenes, and they was playing Freak Out, that shit was funny, I gotta say. But anyway, to really give you the context, once Jada and Will started really being a serious couple, Chris Rock would really crack jokes on them on his talk shows. If you remember the Chris Rock show on HBO, he would basically like put in digs on Will and Jada and Will. Now, there's an episode where she guest starred on the Chris Rock show, and they were friends. You know, she hugged him and everything, and she was talking about the Million Women's March, how she was one of the organizers of it. It was a historical event and other things she was doing. So then you hear a buzzer go off, and she's like, "What's that?" He was like, "Oh, we gotta tell you, you want a gift. You want a gift." And she was like, "What?" He was like, "Here's a bottle of champagne for going 5 minutes without talking about Will Smith." And she laughed it off because, you know, it was funny because I actually saw that show live. And I was a teenager, but I would stay up, and when it would air at Fridays, I love the Chris Rock show. I saw every episode. But later on in the 2000s, when he would do like different stand-up comedy, when he would just, you know, like host specials, he would always talk about Will and Jada. Will and Jada. Jada and Will, you know, Hollywood's famous couple, you know, and he would always say something. But the jokes at the time, it was, you know, friendly because they were cool. Then Chris got married. Chris got married, and he married a woman named Malak Compton. Now, if you've seen her, okay, just look at Malak real good. Look at Jada real good. Look at the face, look at the bone structure, look at the skin color, look at the physicality of the two. Don't Malak resemble Jada? With hair, like especially with Jada with hair, like when Jada grows out her natural hair, doesn't Malak resemble Jada? Malak even would wear similar clothes to Jada when they were together. If you notice it, I want y'all to look back and pay attention because it blew my mind what I saw it a couple of weeks ago. So in 2003, the Smiths produced a show called All of Us. I never watched an episode, I have to be honest. But they casted his brother, Tony Rock, who was the only cast member to be in all the episodes. Then you have another, it was another show that they did a movie where they were going to cast the brother in the movie, but for some reason, because this is what I read, because I used to read like the trade magazines when it comes to films and casting, but you know, it didn't happen. However, what did happen in 2004 was the animated film Madagascar, and it starred Ben Stiller, and it starred Chris Rock as a zebra. Ben Stiller played the lion, and Jada played Gloria the hippo. So I saw Madagascar. I was 21 years old. I went to go see it, and it was funny. It was for the kids, but there were certain things in it that was a little bit adult-like. But it was like a turning point for both of their careers because it was the first time that Jada did an animated, was cast in an animated film, and it was the first time that Chris Rock was cast in something family friendly, you know, because, you know, Chris Rock got a raunchy mouth. But their friendship actually got stronger because they were doing promotions for the film, not just domestically, but internationally. And, you know, Chris Rock would, you know, sometimes, you know, go to like be invited to events that the Smiths host because in the 2000s, Will Smith production company, Overbrook Entertainment, really took off, and they were a powerhouse in Black Hollywood. So Jada did films. She also did music, but she really did a lot of producing of movies. And she casted a lot of people. Yes, they casted their friends, like you should, but they also casted up and coming people as well. So I gotta give them a shout out because they really looked out for Black actors in Hollywood at that time who may not have gotten work. So you had the Madagascar series, the franchise, 2005's first one, 2008 second one, and 2012. That's when you hear the song Afro Circus, da 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 da, Afro Circus. So they wrapped it up. But they did have the Madagascar series, but only the pigeons who voiced it in the movie, they were the only ones that returned for the show. That used to air on Nickelodeon. I remember that. But then everything was really cool. And then we get to 2015, 2016. 2015, Will Smith stars in a film called Concussion. And his performance is praised by the critics, but he doesn't get a nomination. Now, they did not boycott the film because Will didn't get nominated. They boycott the film because nobody Black was nominated. Not just actors, but not even producers, not even makeup artists, not even costume design people, not even lighting, sound, music, original song. Nobody Black was nominated that year. Okay? So Jada started the hashtag. Like, she started like saying it, like Oscars was so white. She led the movement, but it was another woman who was like a lawyer. She did the hashtagging of Oscars is so white, but she even said that Jada Pinkett Smith was the inspiration behind it because she called it out. And we gotta be real, Janet Hubert was the one who basically was calling them out and calling Jada out on her BS. And Monique basically was one of the people that commended Jada for sticking up for Black actors because Jada was one of the few people that supported Monique and had her back, even though she didn't really cast her in films. That's a whole other story. But at least she pretty much she didn't want to contribute to the blackballing of Hollywood. She didn't want to contribute to that at all. So we get to, oh, hey. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome about that. All right. Thank you, Mary, for supporting. I really appreciate it. And it's okay. You know, the misunderstandings happens. It is what it is. So, what happens is Jada goes live and she posts on Facebook and on Instagram that we as Black people, we have to stand up at some point. And as actors, it's a social responsibility. We're not just here to be entertainers. We're not here to just be a fetish, to be looked upon. We also have a voice and we have to use it responsibly. I just can't, as a person and as an artist, watch racism still occurring in 2016, knowing that you have great performances coming from Black people who are actors. To not nominate a Black person in 2016 is blasphemous. It's insulting. It's disrespectful, and it's downright racist. Now, what the Academy did, the Academy said, okay, fine, we didn't nominate anyone Black, but we will give you a Black host. So they were pacifying Black audiences and woke audiences by casting Chris Rock, okay? So in that very video, Jada Pinkett Smith stated that our brother Chris Rock is hosting the Oscars. And it was the 88th Oscar ceremony. And who could be a better person that they picked than Chris Rock? And I give my blessing to the brother because I know you're going to do good because he's my friend. Okay? Now, if you were Chris Rock knowing that she gave you her blessing, would you go out there and assault her the way she did, the way he did, and compare her serious boycott to Rihanna's panties? Or really, you could say Rihanna's privates. That was degrading what he did, and it was sexist. It was it was against black women. It was racist because you were making mockery of black people on an international stage. But what also was going on when he hosted, he was degrading black people. They hired him, the Academy, to degrade us. They made fun of Black History Month, and they even had him to tell a joke about black people don't care to watch about the Oscars anyway because they're busy being lynched on trees. This is what Chris Rock said. Now, up until that point, I was a huge Chris Rock fan. He's a fellow New Yorker as me. He came out of comedy clubs. He was on SNL, one of my favorite shows. And for him to say those things, those jokes, and if you want to look it up, just type up the Oscars Chris Rock hosted 2016, because he hosted in 2005. So type in Chris Rock hosting Oscars 2016, and you will hear it for yourself. It was bad. And this is the thing that people taught me, and I had to listen to it. Chris Rock does tell jokes for the enjoyment of white people. So when he's joking about us, he's not joking about us for the entertainment of blacks. It's not like, it's not like Monique. It's not like Steve Harvey. It's not like Bernie Mac. When Bernie Mac was telling jokes about the black experience, he was doing it for a black audience. Chris Rock does it for a white audience, but he throws us in the bus a lot. And I had to come to terms with it. And when I found out, it hurt me. When I saw the light, I was like, oh shit. Oh my God, this is bad. I've been laughing all these years. I was like, oh my God, it's bad. But once he made that comment about Jada boycott and made mockery of it and compared it to not being invited to Rihanna's, not getting inside of Rihanna's panties, that's when Jada was like, nah, we can't do that. So through the years after that, here and there, he did joke about them necessarily on the Oscars, but like different specials, different shows, like live shows. Because I know people who've gone to shows. He would bring up Will and Jada. So fast forward to when the whole Oscar show occurred, the 94th Oscars. Will Smith is nominated for his performance in King Richard. Now, this is why I'm more angry at AMPAS than Chris Rock. You guys not only vote for the award ceremony, not the award ceremony, the nominees. It's 3,000 of you all. You all could have said, we got to be cautious of who to invite or who not to invite to present. Now, you could give tickets to people to come there to attend the show, because they do that. Because if you are a member of the Academy, you get tickets and a +1. You and a +1 get tickets to go see the show. I really thought that Will Packer was the one that produced the show to where he chose the presenters. He chose what was going to be said and the jokes. I thought that he was the one that had that whole thing set up. And I apologize already in advance. So if he hears it, if his people hear it, I'm not going to put that on Will, because I did my research. It was the Academy. the Academy chose to invite Chris Rock. Now, what they did was a setup. First of all, there were jokes that night that were made about the entanglement. There was jokes that people were making about Will Smith. But those jokes were written and they were also like passed through and approved by the Academy and also approved by the producers. When Chris Rock went out there to be a presenter, what he said was off the cuff, meaning that he said it on his own accord. Now, the history of the Oscars roasting. I've watched the Oscars for over 20 years. I can tell you, when a person is roasting, they only roast the nominees or the people that have just won the awards that night. Or if it's a lifetime achievement, they'll get roasted too. You never roast a person who is not getting nominated because they're accompanying their spouse or their date who's being nominated, or they're just there because they got a ticket to see the Oscars. You know, you don't do that. That's not in good taste. It was in bad taste what he did. Now, what he did when he joked about Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem, I think that's his name, Bardem. I think that's his name, Javier Bardem. Yeah, Javier Bardem. They are a married couple, but they were also nominated that night. So the joke made sense that, you know, if Harvey loses to Will Smith, which he did, basically she gonna be mad. But if she loses to someone else, she gonna be mad, he gonna be mad, it's gonna be upsetting. But what he was supposed to do, since he tells his joke originally, he was supposed to just focus on Will Smith. Don't talk about Jada. Or all he could have did was, if he really wanted to say something to Jada, apologize to Jada for what you said about her in 2016. Or don't say nothing. Better off, don't say nothing to Jada at all. But instead, he talked about Jada Pinkett, G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. You was making fun of her being bald and making fun of her being bald because she's losing her hair. Yes, G.I. Jane is iconic, but G.I. Jane was a choice. Demi Moore chose to do that for her character. That was part of a choice. Her hair grew back. This is not Jada acting. This is Jada going through a hair loss situation, an autoimmune disease. Now, Chris says he didn't know. Here's my thing. If I knew in 2021 that she had alopecia, if people down the block knew, if my family knew, how the hell you don't know and you work in Hollywood? How the hell you don't know that shit? Okay? Now, instead of, you know, not telling a joke, he put himself, or the Academy put himself in a very vulnerable situation. Because what they did was they made him appear to be picking on Jada. Now, it could have stopped right there. But what they did was, or not what they did, but Will got up there and smacked him. And then before he got smacked, he said, "Oh, Richard coming. You was making fun of Richard Williams." There was no need to make fun of Richard Williams. He never said, "Oh, Will coming." He said, "Oh, Richard coming," because he never thought that Will would lay hands. That's why he said what he said to Jada. Because what he basically was doing was on the one night, your biggest night in Hollywood, I know you're going to win. I'ma still talk about your wife because your wife rejected me many decades ago when we all was coming up in Hollywood. And they treated you like the golden boy, and your wife benefited from marrying you, whereas my wife and we divorced. But even with all y'all entanglement issues, y'all still going strong together. Regardless of what goes on behind closed doors, you still got your wife. I got divorced, and my wife got a lot of money from me, and I gotta pay her not just child support but spousal support. So in his mind, it's like, well, maybe if I would have had Jada, maybe Jada would have, accepted me. Maybe things and Jada, me and Jada would have worked out. But instead of him just saying it, Will Smith took it a step further and laid hands. And then let him know, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Now, that's when it turned dark. But here's the thing. I believe that not all the people on the Oscars board did this, but this was done strategically to basically destroy Will's credibility. They knew, as well as people in Hollywood knew, about the beef that Will had with Chris because of this disrespect in 2016. So, word on the curb is that he was warned. Word on the Hollywood curb, Hollywood street, he was warned to keep his wife's name out his mouth. Maybe it wasn't, one-on-one approach, but Will's people told Chris, don't ever talk about Jada and disrespect her again. Otherwise, it's going to be some problems. He did not follow through. He instead just went to Jada, and that's why the smack was laid across the face and heard all around the world. Now, while Chris was there, and like I said to Dirty Will, this was payback for Oscars Is So White. Let me break it down. Oscars Is So White changed the course of not just the nomination process, but also the membership process. Pre-2017, you had people on the Academy Award membership board for decades, mostly white. There was only a sprinkle of black people. Hence why there were not enough black people being nominated, let alone winning Oscars. Pre-2017, these are the people that won Oscars, and I can tell you, Hattie McDaniel. I keep calling her Harriet McDaniel. Sorry about that. Hattie McDaniel, Sidney Poitier, Louis Gossett Jr., Denzel Washington was first one. Whoopi Goldberg, Cuba Gooding Jr., Halle Berry. Denzel won again. Morgan Freeman, Jamie Foxx, Jennifer Hudson, Forrest Whitaker, Monique, and Octavia Spencer. I just gave you 13 names. When black people would win before, it was an event. It was like, oh my God, a black person won an Oscar. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's like you would have to tune in. It was like a big deal because we were not winning. Now, we were being nominated, but not every year. Another thing, too, you had other people winning awards, but not like now. Since Oscars Is So White, you have more than a quarter of the board, more than 25% of the board is black. And they vote in their category. So if you're an actor, you vote in the acting category. If you're a producer, you vote in the producing category. Another thing too is that there is a time limit. I believe it's 20 years to be a member. And once you're nominated, you're considered to be a member. Another thing also with the Oscars, these are the people who are Black that have been nominated since then and won. We have, as far as winners, we have Mahershala Shabazz Ali, Viola Davis. Mahershala won again. Kobe Bryant won an Oscar, the first basketball player to win an Oscar. We have Regina King, a child star, to win an Oscar. We also have another person that's won pre-Oscar so white, Lupita Nyong'o. I apologize for that. Lupita Nyong'o. I apologize for that. What's his name? Daniel Kaluuya. He won an Oscar. And also Jordan Peele for Get Out. Daniel Kaluuya won his for Judas and Black Messiah. And we have Will Smith, who won, and Ariana DeBose. Not to mention, we have Mary J. Blige, who was nominated for 2 Oscars in one ceremony, the first Black woman to achieve that. Then we have the young lady, I can't think of her name. I'm not really a fan of her because she's a little messy. She was co-signing that Carter shit. I can't think of her name, but she played Harriet. She was nominated. Then you have some other people was nominated. Oh, Leslie Odom Jr., he was nominated. And then the man who wrote One Night in Miami, he wrote it. He was nominated for original screenplay. No, adapted screenplay, because he wrote the play. So you have a lot of people coming up. But see, here's the thing. You still have racism on that academy. And you still have people that, if they could have it the old way, they would go back to it. So it's like, okay, you're the reason for all the changes. You're the reason for all these Black people and Latinos and Asians winning. The Asians are benefiting from this a lot too. The post Oscar So White campaign, because Minari won Oscars. The lady from Korea, she won. You had Parasite, that was for Best Picture in 2020. Then you have Chloe Zhao. She's the second woman to win for Best Director. And she won, I think, for Best Picture. And she's Chinese. Another thing, and you see a lot of Asians winning awards. So you have those white people that want the old way back. Oh, thank you, Mo. I appreciate it. You have the white people that want the old ways back. So they will do any and everything to basically destroy and to uphold that tradition of white supremacy in Hollywood. And if they have to destroy someone in the process as payback, they will do it. And that's what happened. They used Chris Rock to destroy or to tarnish the legacy of Will Smith. Because before that happened, Will Smith was pristine clean. The only thing was rumors about him and Dwayne Reed. And white Hollywood didn't give a shit about that because he was making millions for them. Chris Rock has never made millions to billions for Hollywood like Will. But Chris Rock is the court jester of Hollywood. Make the white people feel good. Will Smith is the hero. He's the action figure. He saves the day. He has saved humanity. How many times in film? Chris Rock never saved humanity. He's never saved life in films like that. This man brought y'all billions in entertainment, both in movies and music. And this is how y'all repay him? He's the Fresh Prince for nothing. He's the Fresh Prince. and this is what y'all do. You know, the Fresh Prince still makes money till this day. It makes millions of dollars. That's why they was doing a Bel Air spinoff, and that's a hit. I haven't seen it, but people really like it. Will Smith brings in dollars, but when you challenge white supremacy, and especially his wife doing it, there's repercussions. So they punished him and had the world to see it. Now I want to shout out Will Packer, because Will Packer did not throw out Will Smith. And it wasn't just because of the time consuming, because when the smack that was heard around the world took place, it was after 11 o'clock. But if they would have gotten him out the theater, it would have delayed the show to go on. And you know, it's commercial. It's not on cable. It's being filmed and it's live, but it still has commercials. So being a producer, he could not just say, okay, you gotta go. Also, he's friends with Jada. Jada is in Girls Trip, and she's gonna be in Girls Trip too. They're filming it. They're filming it, I believe, right now. They're gonna start filming it, and it's gonna be released next summer. He's a friend of theirs, and he knew, just like Denzel, just like Tyler Perry, he knew that that his wife was suspected by Chris. And Will Packer did not co-sign that joke. That joke didn't go through the producer. That didn't go through. The one with Penelope did, but not that with Jada, because people have said that joke, that was all on him. So to people who are like, oh, Chris, I love you, you're strong, man, you know, this and things like that. I don't knock anyone who supports Chris or despises Will for what he did. But I want to say that Hollywood and even other industries, it's always smoke and mirrors. Whenever you have white supremacy at the forefront, there's always another, it's always a hidden hand, because both people were played. Chris was played too, because he was put out there in a vulnerable situation, because Jada could have smacked him. Jada could have went up there, took off her shoes, and smacked him with her beautiful emerald green gown, and could have smacked him, you know, and looking like a black young Sophia Patrol. So she's so short and thin, and was smacked him and said, keep my name out your motherfucking mouth. How about that? And that would have been a boss move, because she's a woman doing that. And it would have been like, you know, black girl magic, you know, all up and down. But it didn't happen like that. And I do really wish that Will did not lay hands on Chris, because now this man got a 10-year ban for something that could have all been prevented if the American Motion Pictures Art and Science Board did not invite Chris Rock to be a presenter in the first place. You don't bring on somebody who you know has no filter there to a person that got beef with someone at the night when they're going to win that award. I would have never done that. I would have been like, Chris, you can't come this year. Bye. I would have been like, Chris, you can't come by. If they invite you to present, you don't show your ass there, because you know what you did in 2016. Click. Don't make Brooklyn look bad. Click. We know you got 10 brothers, but they don't need to be involved in your mess. Click. Now you got his youngest brother that want to have a celebrity match. Basically, this man, because you know he do have 10 brothers, but a lot of brothers are adopted. But he signed on for a celebrity boxing match, and he's supposedly training because he wants to beat up Will Smith. So you see all this, all because a joke was told that didn't have to be told, has led to a slap, led to you being cursed out. Now your whole family wants to jump Will Smith. But here's the thing. Y'all forgot Will's from Philadelphia, West Philly. The nicer part of Philly, but still Philadelphia. You thought that Will was a punk. one of Will's managers is Charlie Mack. You don't play with Charlie Mack. And I'm gonna leave it right there. See, y'all running y'all mouths, say what y'all gonna do to Will. Y'all forgot he's from West Philadelphia. There could be people from out there that could be like, yo, you disrespected Will, you disrespected Jada. You know, Will, that's family. You know, that's my cousin's wife. You know, that's my best friend. That's my friend's wife. And Will is one of those people that is nice and kind. I know people that work with Will Smith. He's a very nice man. I know people that met Will Smith. He's a very nice man to people. I know people that met Chris Rock and say he's very nasty. Or if he has to talk to you, he's not overly friendly. He's not a friendly person. Now, I'm going to say something that I think is important. And that is the nonverbal. Chris Rock does have a form of autism that he revealed in 2020. Now, I just found out. I don't know if Will Smith knew. But just like he said that he didn't know Jada had alopecia, Will could say, I didn't know that he had a form of autism or Asperger's. I think it's a form of Asperger's. Chris Rock can sue the Academy, and I think he will. And what I believe is going to happen, they're going to have him host, may not be 2023, but it might be in 2024. They're going to pay him millions because they put him in that situation to begin with. Another thing, too, is that Chris Rock did not call the cops. He could have done so, press charges, but he knew that it would look like a sucker move, so he couldn't do it. Now, he said that he will never joke about, he will keep Jada's name out of his mouth. And of course he will. He actually left after he presented. He went to a totally different after party. He didn't go to the Vanity Fair party. He went to an after party where a lot of white men were. The black people at the Vanity Fair party with Will Smith. So it tells to show you, like I said, a lot of Chris Rock's friends, they're white. They're white men. So, in my opinion, to wrap this up, this is a lesson for Chris Rock because this is really about him. I don't agree with him being slapped, but this was something that was long time coming. You keep joking about black women, especially in the company of white men, and you can't. At some point, people are gonna say enough. Now, I know if my aunt was there watching the Oscars with me that night, honey, she would have been like, yes, Will, yes, Will, yes, Will. You had to handle that. And I know my mother was like, no, that can't be, because my mother was a really big Chris Rock fan. And so was my sister. They're like super fans. They love Chris Rock. Like, my sister is crying over that slap. She's like, no, you don't understand. He's a victim. You don't understand, he's a victim. And me, I'm gonna give you my total point of this. Chris Rock is a victim when it comes to the physical assault. Yes, he is. But is Chris Rock innocent? No. He's not innocent. He's not innocent. Because he didn't have to say what he said. Will Smith is not innocent. But Will Smith, here's my thing. Will Smith has to also understand that the anger is also coming from the August Alsina situation. And he must know that in order to make things better, they got to curb red table talk. They don't need to do red table talk for like another couple of months. I know they wrapped up their 4th season. And I'm going to say something. I've been watching a couple of red table talk episodes, And Red Table Talk is a good show. I didn't even realize it's been going on since 2018. And Jada is a Daytime Emmy Award winner. So this is her first major award. She got the E. Now she gotta just get the GOT, which is the Grammy, the Oscar, and the Tony. I don't think she's gonna get that Oscar. But Will and her were nominated for the Tony. And Will has a Grammy. So he got the Grammy and the Oscar. He got the go. So maybe that's why they working on Hollywood. You know, he got the G and the O, go. But he don't have the E and the T, but he's nominated. He's an EGOT nominee. But Jada, I could see being on Broadway because Jada is a total performer. Jada can dance. If you've seen Girls Trip, Jada got the moves. If you've hear her sing, she can really sing, and she's a really good actress. She's very good. And I think she should give Broadway, in terms of the performance, I think she should give it a try. I think she should do stage work. Another thing, I think Will should take this experience and go do. I think he should turn his book Will, into a one-man show on Broadway. And he should talk about it because this will be therapeutic, and he will definitely get a Tony. He will get a Tony because we, as a community, we love Will Smith. We love the Fresh Prince because he came from us. We validated him before white people validated him. We were the ones that bought his music, watched the videos. Parents just don't understand. Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble. That's like my favorite song by him. And he went gold, the first album, went triple platinum, the second album, won the first Grammy for hip hop album. So he will always he will always have a place in our community, regardless. You know, Chris Rock too, to an extent, but Chris Rock, he was validated by white people because of SNL, Lorne Michaels. So he's has a larger fan base of white people than black people. So we have to always, remember that. But Will Smith, his audience is color, it's multicultural, multi-ethnic, multiracial. He is like Michael Jackson. He transcends race. But the smack, basically the powerful whites, and really it's those racist whites, they want to destroy him. Because a lot of those racist whites were the ones that nobody was talking about you. Nobody be checking for you. Nobody looking for you. Even if you're powerful behind the scenes, we don't know you. We don't want to look up at you and look up at you and have posters of you on our walls. We gonna always play Will Smith films. We gonna always bang Getting Jiggy with It, Summertime. We gonna always bang Parents Don't Understand. And we always gonna watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I know I am. I was just watching King Richard last week. And I watched Girls Trip last week. I rented it. Okay? I rented it. And I gotta say, I saw it after 5 years, and it's a very good film. I saw it twice. And I'm gonna do a review on it. And I'm gonna go see Girls Trip too. Okay? And I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna watch Head of State. I'm gonna watch Pootie Tang. I ain't gonna lie. Because I still like Chris Rock, but my whole thing is, for the record, for Chris, he has to stop being a court jester for white people to make and making fun of blacks. Even Janet Huber calls him out and was like, I met him 3 decades ago, and he was not nice, and he is not nice to black women. And sometimes you gotta be slapped. And this is a person that basically beefed with Will for almost 30 years. And she congratulated his win at the Oscars. and said Jada looked beautiful. You see that? So I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna head up out of here. I want to thank the people that listened, came to this live. I know it wasn't a lot of y'all, but I appreciate the viewership. And I will definitely have this up immediately. It will be on my page. I know it's probably not a lot of views because it's not a hot button topic anymore. It's about 27. It's 21 days old. It's 21 days old. The slap heard around 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22 days old. So people are moving on from the slap heard around the world. It has its own Wikipedia page if you want to check it out for more information. But with that being said, it's your girl, Miss Analytical. I'm signing off. Thank you for tuning in, and good night.